2. The human mind can acquire knowledge of the universe. 3 conditions are needed for the universe to be comprehended by human rationality. First, the universe must have a rational structure. Second, we require the necessary mental capacity. And third, the harmony between the human mind and the universe has to be ensured. In the previous chapter, we argued that the Quran grounds belief in the rational structure of the universe. In this chapter, we will discuss the fact that the mind must also have the necessary requirements, and there must be a harmony between mind and the universe. No matter how ingenious the mind is, the universe must have a rational structure if the mind is to comprehend it. On the other hand, even though the structure of the universe is rational, the mind must also have the necessary capacities if it is to comprehend the universe. Moreover, the rationality of the universe has to accord with the capacities of the mind. If the universe had a rational structure that surpassed the capabilities of the mind, humans again would be unable to understand it. If it were sufficient for the universe to have a rational structure, or it were sufficient to have a small mental capacity to comprehend it, then talented animals such as parrots, dolphins, or owls could also have carried out scientific activities. The practice of science assumes that our minds are capable of grasping the world, whether we are aware of it or not. How could we acquire knowledge if this were not possible? Although scientific activity requires such a presupposition, many people believe in it without any reasonable ground. Philosophers, however, are concerned about which worldviews can rationally ground this presupposition. Within theism, there is a rational ground for this presupposition, since God is the creator of both the universe and the mind. It is reasonable to think of both the universe as rational and of the mind as capable of grasping the world. Mind and world are both created in harmony with each other. That is, the theist has rational grounds for the belief that the mind can acquire knowledge of the universe, which is vital to the pursuit of scientific truth. Galileo, a prominent figure in the scientific revolution of the 17th century, viewed the capacity of the human mind to comprehend the universe as evidence that human mind is created by God. Johann Kepler, a famous Christian astronomer, emphasized that a theist has rational grounds for trusting the mind in the process of accumulating knowledge about the universe. God, who founded everything in the world according to the norm of quantity, also has endowed man with a mind which can comprehend these norms. Of course, not every theistic tradition stresses the importance of reason and encourages people to comprehend the universe. Moreover, in many theistic traditions, even in certain Islamic schools of thought, granting importance to reason is considered a weakness of faith. In such traditions, reason is demeaned and faith is elevated. However, the Quran both provides a rational ground for this presupposition and encourages believers to ponder the phenomena of the universe, thus motivating Muslims to practice science. But in addition to this, these verses also support the presupposition that the human mind can acquire knowledge related to the universe. If our minds were unable to acquire knowledge, then wouldn't it be meaningless for us to even attempt to comprehend the phenomena in the universe? In short, the Quran supports the presupposition that the mind has the capacity to acquire knowledge while practicing scientific knowledge. The following verse is one example of the many verses related to this in the Quran. In the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation of day and night, and sailing of ships across the ocean with what is useful to man, and the water that God sends from the sky, enlivening the earth that was dead, and the scattering of beasts of all kinds upon it, and the changing of the winds and the clouds, which remain obedient between earth and sky, are surely signs for the wise. Naturalism is the fiercest alternative to theism in contemporary thought. The so-called new atheists are naturalists. The relevant question is, does a naturalist have a rational foundation for assuming that the mind can reach the truth? Philosopher of mathematics Mark Steiner claims that the harmony between the universe and mind is a problem for naturalism. True correspondence between the human brain and the physical world as a whole. The world, in other words, looks user-friendly. This is a challenge to naturalism. Charles Darwin was engulfed with a horrible doubt. Whether a human mind that had evolved from lower animals, a monkey's mind, was capable of acquiring knowledge of the world. Naturalist, evolutionary biologist J.B.S. Haldane likewise conceded the troubles with naturalism inherent in trusting the mind with his following words: "If my mental processes are determined wholly by the motions of atoms in my brain, I have no reason to suppose that my beliefs are true, and hence I have no reason for supposing my brain to be composed of atoms." Naturalism, so it seems, does not comport well with the mind-universe harmony. Alvin Plantinga's evolutionary argument against naturalism shows that the naturalist paradigm undermines rational belief in the mind's ability to reach truth. Plantinga argued that the theory of evolution and naturalism cannot be reconciled. Evolution, after all, aims at survival, not at truth. We should expect our beliefs to aid our survival, not to be true. According to the naturalist atheist evolution viewpoint, we should not be expected to have reliable mental faculties, because the mechanisms of evolution would select cognitive faculties that are aimed at survival, not at true beliefs. Naturalism, which is blind to truth, does not provide any reason to think our cognitive faculties, evolutionarily produced, aim at truth. However, theism and the theory of evolution do not undermine trust in our cognitive faculties. Since a theist believes that God has created humans to recognize Him and appreciate His world, they have reason to expect to acquire true beliefs. Since naturalists have no ground to claim the reliability of our cognitive faculties, they cannot assert the truth of any belief, including evolutionary theory itself. According to Plantinga, the theory of evolution and naturalism are self-defeating. Plantinga's opponents argue that since true beliefs enable survival, natural selection favors true beliefs. However, from a naturalistic perspective, it may be that our neuronal structures in our brain causes us to act the way we do. These neurons mediate behaviors via their biochemical structures, so the content of thought, whether it is true or not, is irrelevant. We can see the problem by imagining contradictory thoughts that allied to the same biochemical structures. In this case, opposing thoughts would result in the same behavior because the biochemical structure that causes the behavior is independent of the thought. Consider a deer running away from a lion. What keeps the deer alive is the action of running away from the lion. Supposing the deer had beliefs, it would be irrelevant whether its belief is true or not. It may have run away to avoid the disturbance of the smell coming from the lion. Or perhaps it thinks its nose would hurt because of the smell. Or it can think that it is just a race, so it runs as fast as it can. These and other similar scenarios, since they cause the same behavior to be performed, cause the deer to live and to transfer its genes to the next generations. As a result, we have a single correct thought against a very large set of wrong ideas. Any one of these ideas, however, allows the deer to survive and to transfer its genes because they result in the same behavior. Nothing in naturalism necessitates true beliefs. Natural selection does not choose true beliefs. Rather, it selects biochemical structures that produce survival behaviors. A naturalist who holds that our reasoning capacity is the result of unguided natural selection cannot defend the reliability either of our cognitive faculties, including simple reasoning processes. Hence, the naturalist cannot claim that either naturalism or the theory of evolution are true, or any idea reached through high levels of reasoning. According to theism, however, the evolutionary process has been realized by the Creator's reason and will, giving humans cognitive faculties aimed at true beliefs. Theism, then, supports reason's capacity for finding true beliefs. Which one is more trustworthy for doing calculations? A calculator designed to perform mathematical operations, or a machine generating random numbers? Likewise, since reason was created to acquire true beliefs as indicated in the Quran, the expectation for the reason to have a capacity to acquire true beliefs and to practice scientific activity with this presupposition has a rational ground. But according to naturalism, the abilities of the mind exist just to ensure the survival and the transfer of the genes and have nothing to do with acquiring true beliefs. When we compare these views, the angle of the Quran and of the other theist beliefs better support the presupposition that claims that in its pursuit of science, the human mind can acquire knowledge about the universe.